All right, hello everybody. Welcome again to another live stream here on Woo English. As always, my name is Hamza and I will be your host. And today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. I think the whole world right now is talking about the same topic. So I thought maybe we should discuss it too at Woo English. So the topic is very simply, sorry, sorry. So the topic I was saying is the trade war. Sorry. Also, as I said, the topic for today's live stream will be a topic that I have seen all the world talk about right now, and it's the tax war, especially between China and the United States. So I'm not sure how aware are you of this topic. You can tell me yes, I'm aware, or no, I'm not aware in the chat. Let me see who is already aware and familiar with the problem that is going on right now. So let's see in the chat. Tell me yes or tell me no if you know this problem or if you have heard about this problem. Just write for me yes or no in the chat. It's as I said, it's a topic that everybody's talking about these days, and we decided to do a listening session about it. So yeah, I would love to discuss it in depth with you guys. But I would love for you to first tell me, are you aware? Are you not aware? Are you familiar with this tax war that's about to start? I'm not sure if it started yet, but I think it's about to start between the United States and China going on. Any idea? So I would love for you to simply write for me a yes or a no in the chat, just to help me see who is already familiar with the topic and who has never heard about this. Because I have seen like all the news outlets are talking about this, and there are huge debates actually going on about this. And maybe for those of you who are new to this channel, Woo English is a channel dedicated to learning English through stories. So we believe that the best way to learn English is by listening to stories and hearing the words in context. And the context that we provide, as you can see, are contexts that are relevant to what's going on in the world. No one in the chat today? Is the chat empty today? Because I can't see any answers so far. Nothing. All right. So let's move on then. Let's move on. So let me uh, adjust the screen and let's just move on. All right. So as we always do, we try to start with a little quiz, and in the quiz, uh, we try to see how much do you know about the topic. So if you don't know anything about the topic, at least help me with the following questions. So the first quiz says, why do countries impose tariffs or impose taxes? So a tariff is another way to say a tax. All right. To show power, so countries they impose taxes on other countries just to show them that they are powerful, to raise money if they need money, to protect industries, or to make friends with other countries, or to make what we call in English alliance. So, what do you think? Which one do you think? Roro, hi, Roro Mountain. Roro Mountain. If I'm aware, I think this is not the first time you are here. Where are you from? Where are you from? So Roro says C. Lebanon. All right, Lebanon. Wonderful. So Roro says the answer is C. So countries impose taxes on other countries to protect industries. Maria Isabel says C as well. So from Facebook, wonderful. So finally, someone from Facebook joining us because most of the time there is no one on Facebook. Cool. All right, let's check if you guys have answered correctly. All right, let's check. Absolutely, to protect industries. Why? Because imagine I wanna buy this pen, okay? I can buy it from my country for a price A. Let's say, for example, I can buy it from my country for $10. But if I want to buy it from another country, for example, if it's imported from China, then China will sell it for $10, but I will pay an extra money, some extra money, which is like tax, which is most of the time 20%. In the case of the United States, it went up to 40 and 100%. So I pay more for goods or for products that come from another country, so that I can prefer things that come from my country. That's basically what tariffs are. So instead of buying from another country for a higher price, I should buy from my own country for a less price, right? So that's why most of the time countries impose taxes on imported goods. So what might tariffs cause in trade? Stronger deals. So if countries impose tariffs on each other, the deals are stronger. There can be trade tensions, meaning commerce tensions. Lower prices or new technologies can emerge. What do you think? Again, A, B, C, or D. You can just write for me the letter in the chat. So, what do you think? What might tariffs cause? Maria Isabel. Hey. So, Maria Isabel says B, which means trade tensions. So, tensions means like struggles or problems between countries. While Aurora says maybe it's A, it can cause stronger deals. Let us check the right answer. It can cause trade tensions, and that's exactly what's happening these days between the United States and China. So, because if a country imposes taxes on another country, the higher the taxes, the less products will be coming from that country. So, this is what's going on between China and the United States these days. And you will understand from the text that we have today in the listening section. Who usually feels tariffs most? So, who is impacted or who is affected more by the tariffs? Consumers, presidents, judges, soldiers. What do you think? Who feels the impact? Who feels the result of these tariffs more? Is it the consumers, the presidents of the countries, judges, maybe, or soldiers? A. Roro says A. Very interesting. So I see more people joining, and I would love to remind you that we have a listening session today about the tax or the trade war that have just started between the United States and China. So we are trying to understand from these with these questions what's going on. Why are these two countries uh, 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 fighting, kind of fighting like economically these days? So we are trying to understand that. And the question is, sometimes some countries will impose taxes on other countries. So if you are in another country and you want to send me something, you need to pay taxes. Vladimir Novikov, A, as well. And I totally agree with you guys. That's the right answer. Why? Because if I send this to China and China imposes a tax on this pen, then I will raise the price of the pen to make up for the tax. All right. So when I raise the price, what happens? The price that the consumer pays is also raised. So most of the time, it's the end of the chain who feels it, and the end of the chain is the consumer. What can a trade war affect? Only factories, only farmers, global economy. Jalila, hi. Uh, Global economy or personal lives. What do you think? So, if two countries, like what's going on between China and the United States now, if something starts like this, if a trade war starts, uh, uh, what can be affected? Is it only factories that make the products? Only farmers? That is because, like, we know that agriculture is the basis of economy. Global economy, like all the economy, or personal lives of people? C. Jalila says C, and Maria Isabel says C, and Roro says C as well. Cool. All right. So you guys all agree. So I cannot disagree with you. Absolutely. The global economy, because it's not a war just between China and the United States. Most countries will feel the impact. And actually, a lot of, like, the stock market is already like kind of like shutting down, unfortunately. So, yeah. Uh, War, negotiation leverage, tourism, or better weather. So, if a country imposes tariffs or taxes on another country, what is the end goal? Of course, we saw in the beginning that the main goal is to protect local products, because if I impose taxes on what is brought from abroad, it will be a little bit more expensive than local products. So people can favor, can prefer local products which are cheaper to foreigner or foreign products. But what is another thing that can a country or that a country can want from tariffs or desire? B. So Vladimir, B. Roro, B. Negotiation leverage. Okay, so B. Maria, B as well. So you guys all, you understand what I mean by leverage. So leverage is like kind of negotiation, like or like to make, they try to make a better deal. Like, I will impose on you this tax, but if you lower your taxes on another thing, I can lower my taxes on another product. So this is basically how things work. And that's absolutely the right answer. So you guys are absolutely correct. Great. So let me remind you again, you are watching Woo English. Our channel is dedicated to learning English through stories, and the text that we are going to listen to today from our videos is related to the tax or the tariff or the trade war that is going on right now between the United States and China, all right, because of the tariffs that America imposed on most countries. And we will try to understand, and then we will try to discuss around the end of this live stream. But what I like to do before we listen, I would love to introduce you to 5 words that you will hear in today's live stream. 5 words, you're going to hear them right now. I'm going to give you a little exercise. You understand them here before we go and listen. What is a tariff? What do we mean by impose? Negotiate, spiral, tension. These are the words that you will hear today, or some of the words that you will hear today in the text, and in front of them are their definitions, but they are not in order. So you need to match each word with its definition and tell me just one letter, uh, uh, one letter, one number. For example, tariff. Which of the five definitions is the definition of tariff? Is it to try to reach an agreement, a tax on imports, increase quickly and uncontrollably, force something to happen, a feeling of stress or strain? Jalila says number one, tariff is B, a tax on imports. Jalila says also five is E. Tension is a feeling of stress and or strain. Tensions, yes, when there is tension between two people. What I always try to do is to kind of teach you language, and at the same time we are learning about the topic that we are discussing today. So it's like two birds with one stone, right? We are watching one live stream, but in one live stream we are going to listen, we are going to learn some vocabulary, and around the end we are going to discuss and share our opinion in English. To is D, meaning impose is to force something to happen. And the same says Jalila. To is D. Yes. Okay. Three is A. Jalila says negotiate is to try to reach an agreement. If I negotiate with you, that means that we are trying to reach an agreement. Vladimir says one is B. So you agree with Jalila and Maria. So tariff is a tax on imports. Imports is what we bring from another country. Roro did them all at once. So one is two, meaning one is B. Two is D. Three is A. Four is D for spiral. All right. And five is E. Great. I just want to show you one picture of one of these. One of these words. But you guys got them all correct. Let me show you the answers. So one is B, like you guys said. A tariff is a tax on import. So when a country imports something from abroad, the country that that sends those that import should pay an extra price. But unfortunately, as I said, it's the customer most of the time who feels this tax, because the company will simply add that to the price of the product. B, impose. So when a country imposes a law or like imposes a tax, it means it forces it to happen. It's obligatory to happen. Negotiate. If I negotiate with you, that means we are trying to reach a certain agreement. If I'm trying to sell you something, for example, and I tell you $10, if you try to negotiate, you can say, well, I'm going to give you $8. That negotiates. So we try to reach an agreement. Spiral. When something spirals, mostly it keeps developing without control, without limit. And let me show you what is a spiral, right? So a spiral, it starts here. So imagine this is a problem. So a spiral starts here, and it goes in and it goes on and on and on, and it becomes bigger. So that's what we mean by spiral. When a problem spirals, it starts growing without any end. So increase quickly and uncontrollably. Tension, of course, is if there are any tensions between two countries, that means that there is a feeling of stress or issues between them. So let's try to use before we listen. This is the last activity before we listen. So I want you to use those words in these sentences. You can just write for me. Number one, is it tariff? Is it impose? Is it negotiate? You have on the top the words that you have just learned. Sorry if we are taking too long to start the stream, but or the listening, but I like to make sure that you are ready, that you are completely ready, right? So for those of you who have just started watching, you came right on time. We are learning these 5 words that will help us in the listening that we are going to do. The listing is about what? It's about the trade war or the tax war that is going on between the United States and China these days. So stay tuned, stay till the end so that we can learn together and discuss. I want to hear your opinions around the end. The challenge today is by the end, I want you to reach an opinion about what's going on and then express it in English. That's the challenge for today. I want you to learn to express your opinion about this exact topic and share with me your answer in the chat at the end in English, all right? So let's see. Roro says number one is impose. The government decided to impose. All right. Great. Impose indeed, yes. Number one is absolutely impose. So to impose, as I said, is to force something to happen. It's obligatory. Countries met to a fair trade deal. Roro says negotiate. And by negotiate, we mean to reach an agreement. You are again correct. Prices started out of control. When we say something this out of control, they start to grow uncontrollably or without any limits. It's to spiral out of control. Yes, this is a spiral as I showed you before. So if something spirals, it just keeps going bigger and bigger without any end. There was growing between the two countries. Tension, Maria says tension. And I like that you wrote it in Spanish with the accent. Yes, that doesn't exist in English. Tension, so no accent on the O. And finally, a tariff was added to foreign steel. So this is basically the 4 words or the 5 words we learned today. We're going to go directly to the listening for today's session. So today, we're going to listen. And as always, in the listening sessions, 3 rules. Rule number 1, listen carefully because I'm going to ask you some questions at the end. Number 2, while you are listening, if you don't understand something, please make sure to ask me. And I'm going to explain to you any word that you don't understand. Number 3, make sure before we go to the listening to click that like button, see if it's working. Tell me done in the chat, and then we can go and start. I'm not going to wait, of course. We're going to directly. This is the text we're going to listen to. This is from a text of 41 minutes that we have on our channel. So we're going to listen to only 1 chapter. Maybe we're going to listen to 2, but it depends on how the first listening goes. So the second chapter is called The Tariffs Are Coming.
Chapter 2. The Tariffs Are Coming. In 2018, the world watched as President Donald Trump made a big decision, a bold decision. He announced that the United States would impose tariffs on Chinese goods. What is a tariff? Well, it's like a tax on products from another country. It makes them more expensive for people to buy. Trump believed this would hurt China. It would make their products less attractive to Americans. And that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted China to feel the pressure. China has been cheating us for too long, Trump said, his voice loud and angry. It's time to stop the theft. Trump wasn't just talking about a small problem. He was talking about years of trade imbalance, years of unfair deals. He wanted China to know that America was not going to accept it anymore. The tariffs were high, really high. 25% on many Chinese goods. That means if a Chinese-made product cost $100, with the tariff, it would cost $125. Trump believed this would force China to negotiate. He thought China would come to the table, willing to make a deal. But there was a problem, a big problem. China didn't back down. They didn't give in. Instead, they did something unexpected. They responded. They also imposed tariffs on American goods. The trade war had begun, and it was like a storm that no one could control. At first, people didn't know what to expect. Would it get worse? Would it end quickly? Or would it spiral into something bigger?
You remember the word spiral? It keeps going out and it no control.
Something dangerous. It didn't take long to see the effects. In America, the prices of everyday items began to rise. Electronics, clothes, shoes. All of a sudden, things cost more. Ordinary people were starting to feel the pain. Farmers, especially, were worried. They had sold a lot of their crops to China in the past. Now, China was putting tariffs on American crops like soybeans, corn, and wheat. The soybean farmers were the hardest hit. They were watching their profits disappear. "What are we going to do?" one farmer asked, his voice filled with worry. "China is our biggest customer. Without them, we don't know if we can survive." The pain wasn't just in the fields. It was in factories, too. Companies that made things like cars and machinery felt the heat. American-made products were now more expensive for Chinese buyers, and that hurt their sales. Workers in those factories felt nervous. Could they lose their jobs? Across the ocean, in China, the government stood strong. "We will not be bullied," they said. "We will protect our interests." They believed they were in the right, and they weren't going to back down. But what about the rest of the world? People outside of China and America began to worry.
Exactly, because it's not just China and America. I think the whole world, like we have said before, the whole world is going to be affected.
Markets around the world were shaky. Stock prices went up and down. No one knew what the trade war would mean for their countries. Would the world economy be hurt? Would businesses in Europe, Asia, and Africa feel the effects? Everything was uncertain. No one knew how long this fight would last, or how it would end. The tension was thick. Trump was sure of one thing. "We'll win this war," he said. "America will be stronger than ever." But deep down, even Trump had to wonder, what if it didn't work? What if the tariffs hurt America more than China? What if, in the end, everyone lost? In China, leaders were saying the same thing. "We will fight until the end. China will not give in to pressure." And so, the trade war continued. No one knew who would win. The world was caught in the middle. Some people thought it would all blow over. Others thought it would get much worse.
It feels kind of like this. Like this is what we call in English war of tug, or a tug of war. So basically, it's just like two people pulling at opposite directions and like hoping that one of them will win. So this is basically what the United States and China are doing. And unfortunately, that rope is the world, or probably it's the economy of the world.
As the days went on, the world held its breath. Would the tariffs work? Would they push China to change? Or would it all turn into a battle that no one could win? The pressure was building. Tensions were rising. The storm was far from over. And in the middle of it all, ordinary people, workers, farmers, businesses, waited to see what would happen next. The tariffs were just the beginning. And no one knew how it would all end. Chapter 3: China's Response. China was not afraid. No, they weren't going to give up quickly.
So before we go
At
to
first,
chapter number
many people
4,
believed that China would
number
back
3,
down.
because I want to focus more on chapter number 3 or chapter number 2. So we're gonna go try to answer some questions, and then we can come back and try to understand. If we still have some time, of course, I want to have a discussion. I prefer the discussion around the end of this live stream. So let's check. So were you listening well? This is what we will see. Are these statements true or false? Trump supported high tariffs. Is this true or is this false from the text you have just listened to now, or from what you know about this topic that we are discussing today? What do you think? Trump supported high tariffs. Is that true? Is that false? You can write for me T or F in the chat from what you know or from the text that we have just listened to. Roro, for example, says that's true. From the text we have just listened to, that's true. Anyone else? I need another answer. That was Roro's answer. Don't hide behind Roro, of course. I want your own answers in the chat. 10 seconds and I'm gonna reveal. Alrighty, I'm gonna reveal them. So yes, absolutely. And now it's 25%, and that was like probably the minimum, because I've seen like very, very high taxes up to 40% and 80 and 100%, unfortunately. So it's like very, very high. Tariffs lowered product prices. Again, from what you know or from the text we listened to, this information, like it was there. So what do you think? True, Jalila. Okay, Vladimir, Maria, Jalila all say true for the previous one. What about this one? Tariffs lower the product prices. False. Roro says false. I don't think these questions really require you to listen so well. I think they just need like a little bit uh, uh, of knowledge about what's going on. False and false, or how the economy works. All right, let's check, and then we can explain. Prices went up, absolutely. So, uh, imagine I import shoes from China. So I contact someone who makes shoes in China, and he sent me the shoes, and I sell those shoes in Morocco, which is my country. So when I sell those shoes in Morocco, uh, now with the tariffs, I need to pay the shoes and the taxes, because mostly it's me who pays the taxes. All right. So I need to pay the shoes and I need to pay the taxes. So the price is up. So it's more expensive for me. So what do? I add that price to the price of the shoes. That's basically what people do. False, Maria as well. Wonderful. So let's check the next question. China ignored. You guys say this is false, so let's check. Let's check it. Sorry, there is like some burning smell, and I had to go check. I'm sorry for that. Yes, so China responded with its own tariffs. So China said, "Well, when you wanna impose some tariffs on me, I'm gonna impose tariffs on you as well." Farmers were hit hard. Farmers were hit hard, meaning they felt the impact so much. What do you think? Is this true, or was there another sector? True. Vladimir says true. So Vladimir, where are you from, Vladimir? By the way, Jalila, true. Roro says true. Wonderful, cool. All right, absolutely. Especially soybeans, especially soybean farmers, absolutely. But other farmers also were hit hard. The trade war affected only America. So far, it only affected America. Ukraine, all right, welcome. Had a lot of we had a lot of like Ukrainian people here on the live streams, and also we had at least like 2 or 3 live streams about Ukraine. You can go back and watch them if you like. False. And I think you guys in Ukraine are are absolutely not with the United States right now, with all that happened. For era Jota Mello. This is so interesting. Look at this. Look at this. This is my family name, right? And look at this person here. You almost have the same family name as me. That's cool. Maria Falls and my cousin. I'm gonna call you my cousin. uh, Error. You have the same family name almost as me. Says false as well. Jalila says false as well. That's cool. What a coincidence. It affected global markets, absolutely. And probably we're going to feel it more in the future, unfortunately. All right, direct questions now. I'm going to ask you questions, and the questions will be on the screen. What was the tariff rates? This is the initial, by the way, the initial. What was the initial tariff rate in the beginning? Was it 15%, 25, 35, or 50? From the text we listen to, or from what you know? B. Okay. A. I have A and I have B. I have 25, which is B. Okay. Yes, absolutely. From the text, it was absolutely B. Yes. Next question. What did China do after US tariffs? They apologized, they ignore, they imposed tariffs, or they lowered the prices. C. Exactly. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. They impose their own tariffs. Who worries about selling crops? Farmers, bankers, judges, or tourists? So, from what we know so far, like this can be leading to very, very dangerous places. This tariff war. A, of course. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to reveal yes, farmers. What happened to the prices in the US? They stayed the same. They went up, they went down, they doubled. Air Jetta for the previous one. Yeah, you guys all got the previous one correct. They are easy. That's why I'm moving on because I want to reach the last section of this live stream, which is the discussion. B. B. Hmm. Jota says B. Jota, where are you from? Vladimir B. Jalila B. Shall I wait for you, Isabel? And Roro? Roro says B. All right, so we should wait for Isabel as well. So, Isabel, what are you? Isabel. Okay, so you guys all agree. I don't want to leave anyone behind. Yes, absolutely, they went up. What did Trump hope tariffs could cause? So, what was the original plan that our Donald Trump, our genius, had in mind? That if he imposes these taxes, these tariffs, there will be peace in the world, that there will be war. He wanted to start war, that he wanted to make it a cause or a key to negotiate, or that it will help in tourism. C. Negotiation, says Roro. C. All right, so you guys all agree with C. Yes, Maria, R, Vladimir, you all agree with C. Absolutely. So he thought that, well, if I impose on them taxes, maybe they will come to me and they will negotiate and then we can reach some agreement. Great. Discussion now. I want to hear your opinions now in the chat. And I want you guys to elaborate if you can. I want to stay silent as much as possible. Or I want you guys, I want to read what you guys are writing. So, Trump made a great move or a big mistake? What do you think? Trump made a great move or a big mistake, and why, in your opinion? Let me rest in the corner. All right, I like this place. I'm resting in the corner. So, what do you think with these tariffs, or what is your opinion about these tariffs? A big mistake. Roro, can you elaborate? Can you tell us why do you think it's a big mistake? Here is our first answer. Roro says Trump made a huge mistake. Why is that? And if there is anyone here who thinks that he made a great move, please, because I'm expecting most of you guys will say big mistake. But I want to know, why do you think that? Trump made a great move, a big mistake. Because people need each other to live. Wonderful justification. So you think that what he did was a little, what do we call that? Narcissistic. Like it was a little bit selfish. Like as if he doesn't need other countries. Live and let others live. Absolutely. And mainly, I want to add this. Maybe treat others like you want them to treat you. What about the others? So for Roro, Donald Trump made a big mistake. Why? Because people need each other to live, and he should have lived and let others live. Especially that, well, when you think about it, this is probably not affecting him as a person. It's affecting more like the Americans. Let's see Maria's question. He thought only about his country. Exactly. I totally agree with you, Maria. This is absolutely it. He was very selfish. He thought only about himself. And probably, I think, he did not think that other countries can respond, right? uh, a great move. Okay, because US economy is number one. No chance to beat it, even for China. But what do you think, Vladimir? Don't you think that other countries can come together against the United States? If because a lot of the things that are made in the United States are not made in the United States. They are made in other countries. Like what? Like the iPhone, for example. The iPhone is at least like it's like connected and everything in China. What do you think? I don't know. But, okay, all right. If you don't know, if you don't have like much, but where are you from, by the way? Because as I said, your nickname, your family name is similar to mine. This is mine. You can see it on the screen. It's right here. It's we are very similar. That's why I asked you where are you from. So finally, someone says, actually, Trump made a great move because he is sure that the United States economy is number one. So no other country can beat him, even if he imposes 1000% or 100% tariffs on imports. But what if the other countries all come against the United States? It is time to buy products from other countries to give them their opportunity too. Very interesting piece of opinion. This goes against what Vladimir says. So interesting. I like your way of thinking, Maria. So you are saying, why don't we try new countries that probably we did not import from instead of the United States? And if other countries do that, maybe that can cause a big problem. Luis, yes, great move. He wants the best for the US. That is the problem for the rest of the world. Luis, don't you think that other countries, as I told Vladimir, may come together against the United States? Because, well, if we like it or not, the United States still imports a lot of things from other countries. It still imports things from from other countries, like from China. A lot of clothes, for example, cars. I don't know, like a lot of things. So yes, it seems clear, like it sounds good on like the first step, but on the second steps, maybe other countries might retaliate. Did I pronounce this word correctly? Retaliate, Luis? Hmm? Okay. Products from China are cheaper and also nice. Uh, Not just that, like Nike, which is a very American product. It's assembled in or it's made in factories, in factories in China. Uh, iPhones are assembled in China as well. For Luis, this can be Europe's is in auto destruction. So Europe is destroying itself. I like look. For me, I'm gonna tell you, I don't think there is a correct or incorrect answer so far because it all depends on what is your argument. Um, I think this is left to the future. We will see what the future will bring. So the answer will be in the future. That's all we can say. Nike is from Vietnam, but I think Tao Chen. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you for correcting me. But don't you think that I think he imposed something on Vietnam as well? Let me check. Tariffs or American tariffs on Vietnam. Let's see. I didn't find anything yet. Let me ask my friend ChatGPT. How much is the U.S. Taxing imports from Vietnam in the new tariffs? Let's see. Or if you guys have the answer, please share it with me. I don't know. It's taking too long. Europe, do. No, Luis, it's an intermediate position. What do you mean, Isabel, by intermediate position? Oh, yes. Okay. Listen to this. Tao Chen. So if it's from Vietnam, actually he is taxed in Vietnam 46%. That's almost 50%. So even if they are bringing uh, Nike from Vietnam, they still like tax them a lot. So yeah, I don't know. We will just watch and see what's gonna happen. This is the answer that we answered right now. Would you pay to support local products? And this is actually the most important thing about these tariffs, because for Donald Trump, what he thought, if we tax other countries, what other countries send to the United States, the prices of products coming from other countries will go up. So people will be obliged to buy from American uh, 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 companies and to buy American products. Do you think, would you pay more to support local products? What if the local products is a little bit expensive? Would you pay more to get that or to support your local product? What do you think? Does not stand for its values. Europe does not stand for its values. But I think Europe are at least they stand with each other, like with other European countries. And I have seen that there are a lot of tensions between America and Europe recently, starting from the Ukrainian stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Like the future looks foggy. It looks unclear because there are a lot of things going on in very short time. Damn. So 46% for Vietnam. USA new tariffs chart. All right. So Cambodia 49. Laos 48. China 34, but it went up. It went up. Singapore 10%. Japan 24. India 26. That's so interesting, man. Yeah. Sri Lanka 44. So anything that comes from these countries will be up by this percentage. All right, let's see. So Peru, Nicaragua, 10%. Laos 95 for exports, I think. Oh, wow. Madagascar 47, 44. Burma. Oh, wow. That's so interesting. All right, let's see. Ukraine minus 10%. Yes, if I have to. Europe has no extreme. Ukraine. I did not understand your comment, Maria. I think you are answering Louise, but if you can please explain to us all what you mean. Minus 10%, is that it? Let me see. I don't know how much he is taxing my country, Morocco. Oh, here it is. Morocco 10%. All right, we're at the bottom. So we are doing good, actually. 10% is okay. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. You did a great job. uh, Europe has not extreme positions. They base their decisions on reason and peace. No, I mean 10%. All right, it's like us, Morocco. So we are brothers in tariffs. I think the quality is most important. Cao Chen says. So Tao Chen would pay for local products more if the quality is good. Because as I said, why is Donald Trump imposing these taxes on other countries? Because he wants to encourage Americans to buy American products. Because if you want to buy something that is coming from China, you are gonna pay double the price, almost double the price. So it's better to buy something local, something American. But is that going to affect them? Of course, it will. Of course, it will, because the other countries did not just ignore this; they answered by even higher taxes. Like China has imposed 84% on the United States. So anything coming from the United States to China will be 84% more expensive, at least. And they are trying to protect Chinese products too. Very interesting, to be honest. Very interesting time to be alive. Let's see the next one. Who suffers more in trade wars, rich or the poor? And this is a very interesting question, by the way, because don't go directly to the poor, because even the rich, they have companies, they have shares, okay? And those shares may go down, those companies may close. So, which one do you think is more affected by the trade war? Rich people or poor people? When two countries are rising the taxes or raising the taxes on each other, who is more affected? Both, says Roro. Well, the poor because the products will be more expensive, and the rich because their companies will be affected because they have the companies. Maria, poor always, rich have more resources. But those resources will finish probably because they will be paying more taxes, more tariffs. It's so interesting. Like sometimes you start thinking about how the world works, and it's much more complicated than you thought. Like very simple things, like what? Like a person coming to office, and he is trying to change everything. He's trying to tell them, well, no one is better than me. No one knows everything. Psst, nothing better than me. Yes. So interesting. So who suffers more in trade wars, in economic wars? Like when two countries are trying to raise the taxes on each other. Poor people always pay more in all. Yes, all in all. Exactly. The poor people are paying taxes, are paying more, whether there are taxes or there are no taxes. The poor always. Exactly, Lewis. Exactly. Exactly. Last question, probably. What should a country do if it feels cheated? If a country feels like it was like unjustly taxed, what would it do? What should the country do? Especially weaker countries that are weaker than the United States, like my country, for example. Trump has imposed 10% more taxes on Morocco, on my country, and we are not as powerful as the United States, of course. So what should we do? I'm not sure if the answer is the question is clear for you. Stop trade with them. But a lot of countries need to trade with the United States. I'm going to give you the example of my country, of Morocco. Morocco needs the United States because we buy weapons from the United States. Morocco buys weapons from the United States. Look for another country to deal with. Probably that can be one. Um, Tao, retaliation. If you raise the taxes on me, I'm gonna raise the taxes on you. But I think tariffs are the shadow of the problem. So what is the real problem, Lewis? Like a very good point. So please, if you have like anything to share with us, please do. Because for me, I just like I'm no expert. I'm an expert in English. I'm not an expert in trading. So if you have anything to share with us, maybe something we don't know, something we didn't mention, please do. I will be more than happy to like discuss it and like learn from you guys. I always say this, by the way. I think I learn more from you guys than you learn from me. Your opinions always give me something to think about. So yeah, I'm gonna seize the opportunity while Mr. Lewis is enlightening us. So to remind you that Woo English is a channel dedicated to we learn English through texts and stories. And the stories we choose for you are stories that are relevant to you, that are very important to what's going on. And today we talked about the tax trade, the trade war or the tax war between the United States and China. And yeah, please in the like the description box down below, you will find our link to the WhatsApp group. So if you join our WhatsApp group, we share like frequent content with you there, so you can join us there through the link to our WhatsApp channel in the like description box below. Maria says, "Well, another country will sell you weapons." I totally get your idea, Maria, but the American weapons are the most developed weapons in the world, I think, so far. So it's very difficult to change them. But yeah, I'm no politician, and I don't have like I'm not in a position of decision to decide. So I'm just giving my opinion. But I know um, the politicians have already like made their minds, and they are not waiting for my opinion to do anything. The problem is to prepare for a new war. I think so. I think so. I think we are gonna go to the third world war. Unfortunately, I think that's like around the corner, as they say in English. So I think we stop here, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. I personally enjoyed this discussion with you today. Thank you so much for watching. I see you on Tuesday, next Tuesday, and